boy! You better not!
Okay.
This is a really crazy thing that happened this week, especially to the backdrop of Charlie. There's a group of young kids, they're Trump supporters basically, that are trying to replicate, it seems like, a bit of what Turning Point was doing on college campuses. They put on MAGA hats and they set up a table. This is kind of like a Steven Crowder thing. And they're there to chat. As far as I can tell, they're there just to chat with some other students. So they went to Tennessee State University. Their group name is Fearless Debates. And, well, take a look.
Hey, you can't don't do that. Come on. Yo.
Oh, you better not, boy! You better not!
Okay.
You better not!
Oh my gosh.
Well, I think the Fearless tour definitely made an impact.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, so I don't know every one of their beliefs. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that they're not Nazis or bigots or the rest of it, and they were basically just wearing MAGA hats. But I suppose, Dana, just none of this should surprise us anymore. And we know that the reverse never happens, right? A liberal group shows up. Like, imagine if just some lefty group showed up to Liberty University. The kids would walk up. I've been there. The kids would walk up to them. They'd be like, what are you guys doing? Or they're going to class, so they'd probably ignore them altogether.
All right, all praise to our Heavenly Father, the Most High Yah, in the name of our Lord and Savior. Some of y'all say Yahusha, some of y'all say Yahushua, and some of y'all say Jesus. First, let me get a shout out to, M24U, you know what I mean? Me 24U and Brother L. Both of you sent me this clip, you know what I mean? And sent me, basically you sent me the clip that I'm going to use, from Sabi Sabs, okay? Y'all going to see that in a minute. But what I want y'all to see now, right? You see how, this supposedly conservative group got a hold to this these footage of these guys who supposedly they just went down here, to an HBCU, right? And had DEI is wrong signs. And, they just went down there and they were just going to set up a debate with a bunch of blacks. You see what I'm saying? What are you going down there to HBCUs? And then as Sabi Sabs, you know what I mean, I'm not going to show that part of her video, but she went into it, you're supposed to get that, you know what I mean, approved by the university. You just go down here and just going to set up a little whatever and all that. So they went down here to swat the beehive, swat the bee nest, you know what I'm saying, and get all the bees stirred up so that they could record it, then put it on here. And then you see the little snide comments that he made. If you went to Liberty University, they would have probably just been going to class. Well, why are these guys there on that university anyway? You see what I'm saying? Well, Charlie Kirk went, to Utah State University, and guess what? He didn't walk out of there alive. So you making those little smart comments. So here it is. You just had that just went on there, and then you're going to go into a hostile environment. You know what I'm saying? And have a sign DEI is wrong and all this type of stuff, but you're the innocent good guy, right? These were just, you heard what he said. These were just MAGA teens, you know what I'm saying, who put on some hats, went out there to just have little debates, Charlie Kirk style, right? And then all of these blacks, start yanking their signs and doing all this, and they had to have a police escort to leave and all this type of stuff. And then you go and try to grandstand and make it look like, you know what I mean? Oh, poor little MAGA guys. Well, come to find out, we just did a video on Israeli paid influencers. We just did this. You know what I mean? We talked about Hasbara in this video here. Now let me show y'all Sabi Sab's video, and she's going to show you who these guys really are.
But who are those guys? They're not who you think they are. In fact, here's one of them. Cam Higbee. He was one of the guys. This is the extremely civil discussion that the riot at Tennessee State Tennessee State HBCU started with. In this video, you watch the mob grow, begin shouting, destroying our stuff, possessing weapons, blocking our way out, and screaming racist epithets, all because of this civil convo. Does everybody see what they are doing? Mob, grow, weapons, blocking, screaming. These words mean things. This is exactly what they wanted to happen. So this is one of them, was Cam Higby. All right. And I think this might be copied. Let me see. I think this is one of those ones that doesn't work. But that's Cam Higby. But do you know who these guys really are? You got Cam and you have David Cott. Check this out, fam. Surprise, surprise. The two guys who act like campus rules are optional are literally paid mouthpieces for the genocidal Israeli government. Kirk was America first. These grifters can't even fake that. Well. Look at this, folks. David Cott going to start doing more TikTok live debates about Israel. Join us. There he is right there. It says Israel's war is a just war. Let's look at the other guy, Cam Higby. Here's 20 minutes of my footage from inside the Gaza Strip. This completely debunks the notion that Israel is blocking food aid. Ladies and gentlemen, the two guys who were at that campus are paid Israel influencers. Why does that matter? Didn't Charlie Kirk say he was America first?
Come on, man. Paid Israel influencers, right? So y'all going down here to start swat the beehive because you need to get out the media, huh? You need to get Israel out of the media with this Charlie Kirk situation because they're being blamed, right? That's what this is all about. I went and did a little investigating myself. Let me go and show you what I found. All right, so you see it. What does it say? David Cott, right? I'm Jewish. I was born in Jerusalem, Israel. My grandfather sat in a Siberian gulag for 6 years in post-World War II Soviet Union for spreading Zionism. I'm a Zionist. He's an avowed Zionist and he's Jewish. He was born in Israel. What are you doing over here at HBCUs stirring up controversy and then playing it off like you're MAGA? Make America great again when you were born in Israel, right? No, Congress does not need to make laws protecting me against blatant anti-Semitism and discrimination. Simple, right? So you on here, you're an avowed Zionist. And yet here you are on America's campuses stirring up controversy. All right, next we go to jewishjournal.com, right? Let's see what we can find out about Mr. Cam Higby. Blinded on Pico, journalist Cam Higby on the chaos and bear spray he encountered outside Ada's Torah. Journalist Cam Higby was standing outside of Ada's Torah synagogue in Pico, Robertson, filming the chaotic scene unraveling outside the synagogue on June 23rd. So it seems like you find your way into trouble quite a bit, Mr. Higby, right? Journalist Cam Higby was standing outside of Ada's Torah synagogue in Pico, Robertson, filming the chaotic scene unraveling outside the synagogue on June 23rd. As pro-Palestine activists descended upon the Jewish neighborhood to protest an Israeli real estate event, Shouting matches ensued and fights broke out. Higby, who isn't Jewish, was in the middle of it all, right? So he just found himself right in the middle of this Jewish and pro-Palestinian, protest, right? Suddenly, he couldn't see. His eyes stung profusely. The world went dark. He had been assaulted with bear spray, rendering him temporarily blind. It was the most terrifying moment in my life, the 24-year-old said. Somebody came up to help me. It turned out to be Rabbi Aryeh Shufrin, head of school at Eula. Rabbi Shufrin put water on my face and said, "I'll take you to the hospital." Higby said, "I said, don't put me in a car. I'll freak out." I didn't really know if this person was a rabbi. He could have been lying. I couldn't see. I could have gotten my vision back and seen that this person is wearing a keffiyeh. Instead of taking the traumatized journalist to the hospital, Shufrin got a paramedic to assist him. This woman told me, "Let's take your camera off. Let me see you. Let's calm you down," Higby said. I said, "Here's my camera. Please don't steal it because I just got it." She's like, "I'm not going to steal your camera. I won't hurt you. I'm a Jew." What the heck? I was still skeptical, but it was so interesting how she said, "I won't hurt you. I'm a Jew." These people didn't know who I was. For all they knew, I could have been an Antifa journalist, right? An hour and a half after the bear spray attack, Higby, who works for Today is America and previously hosted the wrap-up at PragerU, could mostly see again. However, one of his friends, David, got hit with the spray as well and needed help. David fell down and was in agonizing pain. He said, "The police told me I had to move him. I said, he has a larger building than me. Can I just put water in his face?" They said no. I had to muster up my strength and move him. I carried him to Pizza Station and they provided water to us. Leading up to the Pico protest, the previous months had also been scary for Higby, who was going to the anti-Israel university encampments at UC Berkeley, UC Irvine, and UCLA to record what was happening. So he's been going to all these college campuses and he's been recording all this anti-Israel stuff, yet he's pro-Israel, right? Because the Jews helped him when he got sprayed with bear spray. But yet you take yourself down here to an HBCU and say DEI programs is wrong. It's wrong. So you're going to go down here after you got sprayed at a protest and you're going to go down here and start, a riot, right? At UC Berkeley, a man pulled a gun on a member of Higby's crew and then followed Higby and his crew off campus. He was assaulted multiple times at UCLA, where he was once covered with burning hot spaghetti sauce. Somebody threw a burning hot spaghetti sauce on him. You see what they do? You see how they just sit up here and over dramatize stuff to the point they're telling a tale, right? Let's scroll this down. Higby has a large social media presence with over 41,000 followers on X and uses his platform to show he is an ally to the Jewish community and Israel. What should Israel do to Hezbollah next? He recently tweeted. Another post reads, "Trust me, bro, Israel is no apartheid state." During his 5 years as a professional journalist, Higby has carved out his niche, recording protests of all kinds, from a large Roe v. Wade protest to one at the Glendale Unified School District office where parents were clashing over LGBTQ plus education. "I feel strongly about a lot of the issues I talk about and document," Higby said. "What I noticed about the UCLA encampments was that nobody else was out there doing the hard work. ABC7 was there, but they weren't getting into what I felt was important, showing the violence, the supplies, which they clearly didn't fund themselves, and the refusal to allow Jewish students onto campus unless they supported the pro-Palestinian cause," right? So now you're supposed to be all about, these pro-Palestine, protests, but yet you're finding yourself down here at HBCU bringing up DEI and acting as if you're MAGA, right? What does MAGA got to do, you know what I'm saying, with you being, at a HBCU talking about DEI, except you down there to start something, right? Higby would ask questions about who was funding the food and water stacked to the ceiling, along with other supplies like deodorant and women's sanitary products, right? I mean, look at this garbage that they're talking about, right? Let's go down, let's scroll down, right? And this is what we talked about in the last video about they can't move people like they used to with the big networks. So they're going in and getting little paid influencers and giving them social media profiles and allowing them to go in and do the dirty work and try to get people to believe people that they think are not associated with Israel or with Fox, CNN, The Hill, or any of that, right? So this is what he says, and this is still the same article. Watch people who are on the ground reporting in an independent way and don't belong to big networks, he said. When I want to find out the truth, I check Fox and CNN and The Hill and NPR. I don't just look at one of them. Even from Seattle, Higby is going to keep reporting on anti-Semitism, the Jewish community, and Israel, and hopes to visit the Jewish state soon, right? I had no pigs in the race when it came to Israel, he said. I'm a white, agnostic American. I'm not Christian or Jewish. Well, we know most of MAGA is Christian. Charlie Kirk was Christian. He's not a Christian. He says he's not Jewish. He says he's agnostic. For those of you who don't know what it is, I'll show y'all in a minute. But he says, I'm just a white guy. I saw there were a lot of people on the left and right who don't like Israel. So if you are worried about people not liking Israel, why are you down here at a HBCU talking about DEI, right? And I thought, what's going on here? It seems to be the most history-rich place on planet Earth. I started researching and drew my own conclusions, and now I want to go there, right? Yeah, you went there and you got paid, right? All right. And for some of y'all who don't know what agnostic is, right? A person who believes that nothing is known or can be known of the existence or nature of God or of anything beyond material phenomenon. A person who claims neither faith nor disbelief in God. So you stand here and lukewarm, right? What did Christ say? I wish you were cold or hot, but in that you're lukewarm, I spew you out of my mouth, right? So the bottom line is he's saying, as an agnostic, I don't not believe in God, but I don't believe in God. So you don't believe in nothing. You don't know anything. You just sitting up here running around here stirring up all kinds of controversy, right? But they got another name for people like that, him and his buddy, right? It's called agent provocateurs. So let's go to Wikipedia and we're going to type in agent provocateur. What do we see? An agent provocateur, French for inciting agent, is a person who actively entices another person to commit a crime that would not otherwise have been committed and then reports the person to the authorities, right? So you see, they went down there, they stirred all that stuff up. And then the next thing you know, the cops have to come out there and, oh yeah, we're the ones, and they're recording everything and making it look like these black people just came and tried to target them. But what does it say about these agent provocateurs? They may target individuals or groups. So they went down here trying to provoke these young, you know what I'm saying, Hebrew Israelites who may not know that they're Hebrew Israelites, right? They went down there attacking them, trying to get them stirred up, right? And this is what we talk about, because they are right now trying to get, these Zionist, Jewish, you know what I'm saying, identity thieves out of the media's news cycle right now, right? So this is what it says. In jurisdictions in which conspiracy is a serious crime in itself, it can be sufficient for the agent provocateur to entrap the target into discussing and planning an illegal act. It is not necessary for the illegal act to be carried out or even prepared. But you see what agent provocateurs do. They go in and they incite people, right? So you see, here we got these paid agents, you know what I'm saying, going down here stirring up controversy, right? And that's basically what, Sabi Sabs was saying in her video. So let's go back here and check out this last little clip, and then we'll come back and discuss it.
Didn't he say it was America first? Didn't Charlie Kirk have these events scheduled? Yeah. When he was going to debate these kids and go to the campuses and stuff like that, wasn't that scheduled? Don't you find it somewhat strange that two pro-paid Israel influencers went to an HBCU and now they are on social media trying to make it seem like they are the most victimized, they are the most marginalized? You see where I'm going with this?
All right, so y'all see, right? And she makes a very good point where she talks about how when Charlie Kirk went to all these universities, they were scheduled. He got it, you know what I mean, authorized and all this type of stuff through the university, whatever. So they would go out here and then they would have, you know what I'm saying, proper security and stuff. Well, it's supposed to be proper security. We know how that turned out, right? Where it was supposed to go out there, set up because there's going to be debates and all this type of stuff. But he would schedule those things in advance. Here, these two jokers just pop up out of nowhere and go down here, set this whatever, and then got these signs out here, you know what I'm saying, that's going to incite a riot. They basically, provoking people with that stuff out there, you know what I mean, talking about less debate, and you ain't even get it authorized with the daggone, you know what I mean, with the university officials. You're just going to go drag your butt out there and then start saying things that's going to provoke people into anger, and then have your cameras rolling so you can go out here and then try to, say, oh, they attacked MAGA. You ain't even MAGA, right? One of you is from Israel. You see what I'm saying? And the other one, you know what I mean, is an Israel supporter. He's an agnostic, right? You don't even believe in Christ, right? So the bottom line is the two of you are nothing but rebel rousers. That's what you are, right? But why would they do this? You know why. Remember, see, I think, to be honest, that they pulled all this crap with Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk wasn't going on along with that pro-Israel stuff, according to Candace, right? First thing that happened, y'all remember, what's the first thing happened after the Charlie Kirk assassination? Netanyahu, who has to get on here and tell you, oh, these wild rumors, whatever. It didn't even, bro, you didn't even give it a week, 2 weeks. You came out a day or two later. You see what I'm saying? For those of y'all don't remember, let me show you the clip.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization. He encouraged me to make the case directly to the American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. Now, if Charlie disagreed with a policy of mine or a decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of Charlie. This is the essence of a free country. It's exactly what Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people. A few weeks before his death, I spoke to Charlie. I invited him to visit Israel again. And sadly, that won't happen. Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this: Charlie Kirk was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing.
In May, Charlie was concerned about Israel and their influence on American politics and how they were pushing things that he felt were in conflict with his beliefs, free speech here in America. Bibi's holding it up like Charlie just in May said, hey, you know what? I just want to write a love letter to Israel. That's how it was presented. Would you guys agree? That's not how it happened. Charlie, from a month ago, speaking about the kind of pressure that he was under, because I think that will also help to further contextualize this.
I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megan, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been
almost
so
as if
unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
Though. No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, I mean, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white. And you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megan. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
No, it's not defensible to be dumb, and he was under an increasing amount of pressure, not just people telling him, oh, well, you know, I'm upset with who you're inviting, but flat out telling him that he was not allowed to invite certain people to his events. They were threatening to pull out money. Charlie was getting a lot of really nasty text messages, and many of them pertaining to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, but Tucker Carlson was really the focus when it came to America Fest. How could Charlie allow these debates about Israel to take place? How could he allow Dave Smith, who, by the way, is Jewish, how could how could Charlie allow this other position to meet the stage? Because obviously when people start to hear the debates, what Dave Smith is saying sounds so rational, but it was up to Charlie to not allow those things to happen.
All right, so you see, what is a daggone prime minister over there worried about what is happening over here in America, right? And what people are saying in America, it didn't even have no time to get running and whatever. He on there did another interview with Greta Van Susteren and all this, you know what I'm saying, making a couple times and keep protesting and all that. So now everybody's talking about, well, was Israel involved in all this? Because he came out immediately start denying. You know, how can it be a massive conspiracy theory and it was just 2 or 3 days later? You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is, you know, once again, try to control the narrative. But now that the narrative start pointing to people, whatever, and a lot of people are saying, y'all are not the true Israelites, that the Negroes are the true Israelites. And what have the Jewish people always had a history of doing? Whenever they need a scapegoat, right? Back in the 1900s, right? When everybody was on them about that, whatever, they put that movie out, A Birth of a Nation, in which they put a white actor in blackface, right? Made it look like he was trying to get, you know what I'm saying, with these white women and raping white women and stuff. They put that movie out, these Jewish movie producers, and went all over the country showing that movie, and they caused the rise of the KKK, right? When that first movie they did, A Birth of a Nation, and they was responsible for the rise of the KKK in America, in which now these white people started targeting, you know what I'm saying, the black community based off the lies that they told in that movie. That's what they did. And they have a history of doing that with us, right? They were the ones that started all them blackface acts and all this type of stuff. But yet they talk about how they're the most persecuted people. And here it is, anytime that they want to go do something, they make themselves out to be imposters and they assume other people's identity. In this case, what did they do? They assumed the identity of MAGA people. Make America Great Again, because they knew putting them red hats on and all this, you know what I mean, going to liberal universities with conservative messages, and these people want to see MAGA and they're going to go off, right? So they knew it. So you went over there with the intention of causing, you know what I mean, the African-American community and, you know, and raising up a division between MAGA, conservative, white, evangelical Christians. That's what y'all tried to do, right? Why? Because right now, y'all are having a problem with evangelical, conservative, white Christians. So now, in order to get the attention off of you, they try to put the attention back on us like they always do, right? And now they got busted, you see? But this is why we got to understand who we are, right? We know that the Day of Atonement 2025 is coming up. Right? And as a people, we, you know what I'm saying, all of our people don't understand. They don't know. But this is why we got to cry out, those of us who do know. They stole our identity. They need our identity. Without our identity, everybody knows that they ain't nothing but a bunch of lying imposters, Khazars, Jews who say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, who want to go here and destroy those people over in Palestine so they can take the land, right? So they can get a foothold over there in the Middle East. Everybody knows what they're trying to do over there. Now, all of a sudden, we're finding out. Now we understand that's why y'all stole our identity. That's why y'all went around here telling everybody that y'all was persecuted when the Holocaust does not fit. You know what I'm saying? The curse of the law, like the transatlantic slave trade does, right? So the bottom line is now we know why you did it, and we know who you are that stole our identity, and you got a price to pay, right? You can keep lying to the Negroes that don't understand who they are, and you can lie to the evangelical Christians. But this is why I tell y'all, the evangelical Christians, those who are truly born again, the Gentiles, the Most High is going to show them and tell them. And I have Gentiles come to me. They know these things, right? But some of our people don't even know that, right? But at the same point in time, those of our people that don't understand this, they're working to have this civil war. They want this big racial thing because they need, you know what I'm saying, instead of the evangelical Christians and the Hebrew Israelite, awakened community that know who is the real synagogue of Satan. They need them to continue to be in conflict so that they don't turn around and both say, no, our problem is not with each other. Our problem is with you, right? They don't want that to happen. That's why they continue to press the division in this country, right? And until people understand this, you don't understand. And all you're going to do is be provoked to anger by these agent provocateurs, right? So that's all this was. It was just another attempt of them trying to get the heat off of them and put it on the black community. That's why we have to wake up and understand who we are and why they do the things to us. Because the bottom line is, without our identity, they're exposed in front of the whole world. So I just wanted to make this short. I thank each and every one of y'all for watching. You know what I'm saying? We got videos on here about all this stuff. Is this your first time watching it? Go check out all the other videos. But until we meet again, the rest of y'all understand the drill. Shalom.